Imagine a world where humans don't just live into their 70s or 80s, but continue thriving well past a century, maintaining cognitive sharpness, physical vitality, and even emotional resilience in ways that today seem almost science fiction. What if aging, as we know it, could be slowed, paused, or even reversed? How is it possible that the fragile cells of our bodies, which once seemed inevitably doomed to decay over decades, might be coaxed into lasting far longer, defying the limits written into our DNA for millennia? Scientists are beginning to uncover evidence that life expectancy is not a rigid number imposed by nature, but a variable, something that could be extended dramatically if we understand the mechanisms that govern the aging process. And when we ask why this is happening now, it becomes clear that it's the convergence of biology, nanotechnology, AI, and quantum science that is opening doors we never thought existed. Consider the tiniest units of life, our cells. Each cell is a universe of activity, with organelles performing countless processes every second. DNA replicates, mitochondria generate energy, and proteins fold into precise shapes to sustain life. What if we could detect and repair damage in these microscopic systems before it accumulates into disease, wrinkles, or fatigue? Modern science is exploring ways to extend cellular life, not just through traditional medicine, but by directly targeting the molecular processes of aging. Telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes, shorten every time a cell divides, effectively serving as a biological clock. Could interventions that maintain or restore telomere length dramatically extend life? And if so, how do we ensure that longer life doesn't simply become a longer period of illness, but one of vitality and creativity? Then there is the role of AI and predictive analytics in longevity. Imagine systems capable of monitoring your entire body continuously, tracking subtle changes in biomarker levels, hormone fluctuations, and cellular health long before symptoms appear. What if a tiny sensor in your bloodstream could detect oxidative stress or inflammation before it triggers disease, alerting you or even initiating an automated corrective measure instantly? When machines begin predicting illness before it manifests, life expectancy may not just increase, it could be personalized, adaptive, and resilient against the random calamities that have historically defined human mortality. Could it be that, within decades, humans may routinely live past 120 or even 150 with minimal decline in physical or cognitive abilities? Yet longevity is not just about extending life, it's about enhancing the quality of that life. How do we maintain the plasticity of the brain, the strength of muscles, and the robustness of the immune system in an extended lifespan? Neuroscientists are discovering that the brain remains remarkably adaptable well into old age if challenged, stimulated, and nourished properly. Could mental exercises, combined with targeted neurochemical therapies, keep our minds as sharp at 100 as they are at 30? And what if nanorobots could patrol neural pathways, repairing micro damage, clearing plaque, and even enhancing cognitive capacity beyond natural limits? The line between medicine and augmentation begins to blur, raising questions about what it truly means to be human when our biological limitations are no longer fixed. Another frontier of life extension is the manipulation of metabolism. Caloric restriction and fasting mimetics have shown remarkable effects in animals, extending lifespan while reducing age-related diseases. What if we could emulate these effects without the deprivation, using molecular signals to trigger the same longevity pathways? Scientists are experimenting with compounds that modulate sirtuins, mTOR, and other key regulators of cellular metabolism, essentially reprogramming cells to prioritize maintenance over decay. Could these interventions, combined with personalized nutrition guided by AI, create a body that continuously repairs and renews itself, functioning optimally far beyond what was historically possible? And if metabolic rejuvenation is possible, what unforeseen consequences might emerge when our bodies operate on a timeline vastly longer than they were designed for? The immune system also holds secrets to extending life. With age, immunity often declines, making humans more susceptible to infections, cancers, and autoimmune conditions. But recent research shows that the immune system can be retrained, rebooted, or even replaced in part through stem cells and engineered therapies. Imagine a body where infections are neutralized before they spread, damaged cells are eliminated without inflammation, and cancerous growths are detected and destroyed at the earliest stage. Could we engineer an immune system that never truly ages, giving humans resilience against the very forces that once dictated lifespan? And if disease can be prevented before it begins, how does this redefine medicine itself, shifting from treatment to continuous maintenance. We must also consider the genetic and epigenetic layers of life. Every human carries markers in their DNA that influence aging, disease susceptibility, and resilience. But gene editing technologies like CRISPR and base editing allow us to correct or optimize these instructions at a fundamental level. What if we could selectively enhance longevity genes while silencing those that accelerate aging or promote chronic disease? And beyond genes, the epigenome, the chemical switches that control gene expression, can now be rewired, potentially turning back the clock on tissues, organs, and even the entire organism. How close are we to therapies that allow our cells to forget their age, rejuvenating themselves as if they were decades younger? Longevity is also influenced by the environment, and here technology is again a key player. Sensors that monitor air quality, light exposure, sleep patterns, and even social engagement could provide real-time guidance to optimize health. Could a smart environment, fully integrated with AI, nudge humans toward behaviors that maximize lifespan, from diet and exercise to stress reduction and mental stimulation? And what if cities themselves were redesigned to support longevity, with green spaces, accessible healthcare, and community networks engineered to maintain both physical and psychological health? When the environment is intelligently tuned for life extension, are we approaching a future where longevity is not just a medical possibility, but a societal design? Space science may also provide surprising insights into life extension. Astronauts exposed to microgravity experience accelerated aging in certain tissues, while studies of extremophiles and long-lived animals reveal biological strategies that could inform human therapies. What if the same mechanisms that allow certain species to live for centuries could be adapted for humans? Could hibernation-like states, enhanced DNA repair, or cellular preservation techniques allow us to not just live longer, but survive environments that would normally accelerate aging? And if life extension is achievable on Earth, might it also become essential for humanity's expansion into space, where longevity will be critical for survival on long interstellar journeys? Even philosophical questions arise when considering radical life extension. How would humans relate to time, purpose, and society if lifespans doubled or tripled? Would relationships, careers, and culture adapt to centuries of experience? And if consciousness persists for far longer than we are used to, how might our understanding of identity, memory, and meaning evolve? Could human cognition itself transform under the pressure and opportunity of extended life, becoming richer, deeper, and more expansive than ever before? The interplay between biology, technology, and consciousness and longevity challenges every assumption we hold about the human experience. Finally, we must consider the ethical, social, and economic implications. Who will have access to life-extending therapies? Could unprecedented lifespans exacerbate inequality, or will society adapt to ensure equitable distribution of longevity technologies? How do we balance the desire to live longer with the responsibility to maintain planetary resources, ecosystems, and societal structures? And as humans gain the ability to extend life far beyond natural limits, what rules, policies, and moral frameworks must we establish to ensure that extended life remains not just possible, but meaningful and sustainable? The science of longevity is no longer speculative. It is an accelerating field that touches every aspect of biology, medicine, technology, and society. From AI-guided personalized health, nanoscale interventions, and regenerative medicine, to gene editing, metabolic reprogramming, and environmental optimization, the tools to extend life are converging at an unprecedented pace. Could humans routinely live past 120, 150, or even longer, retaining mental acuity and physical vitality? And if we succeed, how will this reshape everything we know about what it means to be human, to age, and to experience the richness of life across centuries? The journey toward radical life extension is not just a medical quest, it is a profound exploration of biology, technology, and the very essence of existence itself, inviting us to imagine futures where human potential is limited only by curiosity and ingenuity.